what's going on, guys, and welcome to the video. Just kind of pulled over here. It's kind of funny starting the video off on the side of the road, but today's video is, well, a bit more of a motovlog style. We're gonna talk about the FC-10 because I didn't really get to make a whole lot of videos on my last one, so now I got this one, and I kind of wanted, now that I've been riding it for a while, to talk about, you know, why I think this is the best bargain for your money. And I can speak from personal experience, this being my second FC-10, because my other one was hit and totaled. So this is now my second one, and I believe that this is the best bike for the price you can buy, and I'm going to explain why. The MT-10 or FC-10, or whatever you want to call it, it's now called the MT-10, was called the FC-10, and MT-10 overseas, I think, but now it's just MT-10. I don't know why they chose two different names. I don't think anyone really knows why, but anyways, that's why I think this is the best bike money can buy, especially for 1000cc in the naked bike category. So, I mean, to be fair, I haven't ridden any other naked bikes other than an FZ07 and an FZ09. So I'm a little bit biased towards Yamaha. However, I paid just over $12,000 for this, like $12,500, I think. And this bike has a full exhaust system. It has nice cosmetic touches to it. It has tank grips, all this stuff, tail tidy kit, etc., etc. Right? But on top of the add-ons that I got this bike with, as standard, the FC-10 comes with things like cruise control that doesn't want to work right now, which is hilarious for this video. But it's great to have cruise control on a bike. I always was like, it's weird to have cruise control on a bike. You don't need it. It's weird. No, it's great. You take this thing on like a nice twisty, not even a twisty road, just a long road that you're just kind of cruising on. You set your cruise control and it just goes. It's great. It also has traction control, 3 different settings, or off, you know, 1, 2, 3, or off. And I believe it also combined in with the traction control. That was a nice C6. It also has wheelie control, I think, so when it hits a certain level, I think traction control kicks on. I could be wrong, and that could be the R1 and the newer MT-10s only, but anyways. Plus, it has throttle mode select, so you can choose how sensitive you want the throttle to be. This bike has heated grips, they're not hooked up. For the price point, $12,000, let's say, you get a used MT-10, decent mileage. This one has like 19,500 kilometers on it, which isn't terrible, especially since it's a 2017. Now, 2019 and up came with the quick shifter. This one did not. It has no quick shifter. I do have one on the way because the 2017 and 18s that don't have a factory quick shifter have a built-in quick shifter in the ECU. So there's a little quick shifter icon in the dash built in, plus a quick shifter plug down below the sprocket cover by the shift rod. So it has all the kit to actually put a quick shifter in, plug and play. It just doesn't come factory with it. So I'm going to be doing that. It's actually in the mail as I'm recording this video. So that's a feature this bike doesn't have, but I can't harp on it because they do have it, and this one has the capability to have it. It just doesn't, because Yamaha was weird for 2 years, and they were like, yeah, here's the ability to do it, but we're not going to let you do it. What's this? Well, we gotta carve this up a little bit for the crowd. Started lifting the wheel a little bit there. there was a little meat there. Well, where did that come from? There's a little meat. I didn't know that was going on there. So this bike comes with all that stuff. So for the price point, and I haven't compared with other brands, but I've seen the new prices for bikes. You can get like a brand new R3 for like $7,000 or something like that. Some of them are maybe $8,000. Which, obviously, if you're a beginner rider, you want a new bike. That's not like a terrible price. It's brand new. But this bike being in the used market for $12,000, depending on which one you buy. Some are even less. Some are in the $10,000 range. Here in Canada, Canadian dollars. So in America, that's probably like $7,000, $65,000, no, $6,000 maybe? I'm not sure. But anyways, you can convert that. So it's not too expensive is the point I'm getting at. And for that price, you're getting, to a degree, a tuned down R1. A little bit the internal components are changed on this engine, but the CP4, it's the same from the R1. You're just down 40 horse, unless you get a tune. Some ECU flashes get this bike up to 180 wheel, which is crazy, with the full exhaust kit. So it's like, anyways, the point I'm making here is you're getting a whack of performance, a whack of electronic control and add-ons like cruise control and traction control, plus the power of the R1, which is priced maybe $10,000 more than this bike. I think new, they were marketed around $5,000 difference, maybe a bit less. But in the used market anyways, I can show that R1s are priced around $15,000 to $20,000 here right now, used. And these are, you know, 10 to 14, 15,000 used, depending. So they're within $5,000 to $10,000, and they're not too far off, but it's obviously dependent on what you want from your bike. Plus insurance. Let's not even get started with insurance. This bike though, actually we'll get started on insurance. This bike isn't bad on insurance. It's a sport touring, which means it's like probably half that of an R1, maybe even more. Like an R1 might be more than double this. So it's not hard on your insurance bill either. It's for what you get. Compared to other bikes on the market, I know that there's things like the Z1000 from Kawasaki, which I'm sure, I don't know the power. It's a good looking bike though, so it's probably comparable, but I do know that these bikes are kind of known for, like the FZ or the MT lineup is kind of known for being wheelie monsters. And this bike is no exception to that, as you may have even seen. It just wants to lift the wheel, that's all it wants to do. But it's so much fun. So this is why, all the reasons why, I bought this one. And on top of it, this has the SC Project exhaust on it, so it sounds mean, but again, it really depends on what you want. I do want to take this bike to the track. I'm curious of the performance in terms of like a quarter mile. Not track racing like circuit, because, well, honestly, I'm not nearly skilled enough to do that safely, in my opinion, but I like the drag strip. And this bike, some people have been running 10s, I think, high 10s, so I would assume I could get into the 11s. I mean, my FZ07 was running 12s, so adding, you know, 90 horsepower from my FZ07, because I had about 70 wheel, no, 60 wheel horsepower, something like that. This bike is advertised 160 crank, so maybe 130 wheel. So almost double the horsepower. I would hope that this thing could get into the 10s, depending on how I launch it. But yeah, this bike has many reasons why it's, in my opinion, the best bike money can buy used right now. And even newer bikes come with a quick shifter, which I'm sure makes it even more fun to ride. And the fuel economy is not too bad either, if you're nice on the throttle. Now, right now I'm averaging 7.4 liters per 100, which isn't terrible, but you have to remember this is a 4-cylinder 998cc motorcycle with a relatively smaller tank. It is like 20 bucks every time I go to fill it, and I fill it every half tank, 3/4 tank. It's about 20 bucks, 15 to 20 bucks every time. So compared to, say, a 300, you're spending a lot of money on gas and burning a lot of gas, but you get what you pay for. This is a big bike. It's gonna burn big gas, so, but again, it's not terrible. People track it. It's great for track racing. You can drag race it. It's fast. It's good in the twisties like this. It's fun in the twisties. It's light, nimble. You can throw it around. But also on a day like this, just like I am right now, I'm talking to you guys with one hand on the bars and going for a cruise. You can do anything you want with this bike. There's attachments for saddlebags, so you can go long distance. There's a 12-volt outlet plug right there, so you can, you know, hook up a phone charger or whatever the hell else you want. You could get a 12-volt toaster if you want and make some bread. Toast some bread while you're here, or something. Like, you can do whatever you want. There's a 12-volt outlet there, so you have power on board. This bike truly, in my opinion, is the best bike. The sport windshield, or the touring windshield I had on my previous bike, took it off right away. But it was big, and it was great. You can just tuck under it on the highway. You wouldn't get blown around. One thing, the exhaust is quite loud, this bike in particular, so, you know, if you have somebody on the back, you're trying to talk with them or whatever, it's not going to be ideal. And riding in groups, I rode with Jordan on his FZ09, and even he was like, holy that thing is loud. Yep, it's loud, and you can hear it, but that's safe because people will hear you if they don't see you. And that's really what you want on two wheels. Now, I know there's a lot of bikes in this kind of range of motorcycles from different brands. Like I said, I'm really just speaking on the Yamaha part. The price difference between like an FZ09 and this is maybe $3 grand. So in my opinion, just save the 3. But the FZ09s have torque, so they pull out harder on this, like on the highway. But this thing has the up-top power. So it's really like is what you want. If you want FZ07, you can go around the city. This bike's less fun in the city because first gear is quite long. But then again, compared to an R1, first gear isn't that long. So it's really like every bike is unique in its own way, and that's why we love it. Like an R1, first, I'm complaining about the length of first gear on this, but in reality, it's not that long compared to an R1. I don't know what speed mile per hour this gets in first gear, but I know it's not as high as an R1. This bike obviously is not for a novice rider. Please, if you are looking to buy an MT-10, get some experience first. Because this bike, like, my opinion, I went from an R3 to the FZ07 to this. My opinion, best progression you can do on bikes, especially for the insurance price. Because the FZ07 is a little torquey, well, very torquey, wants to lift the wheel all the time. That helped me prepare for the power and the wheelie capabilities of this bike. Power wheelie capabilities, I should say. This bike really, first through third, sometimes fourth gear, shifting third to fourth, it wants to lift that front wheel. So having that experience from the FZ07 really did help. Because before that, I didn't know, I'd never wheelied a bike in my life, but this bike just kind of does it on its own. Pop. Like I said, I got a quick shifter on the way. It's not an OEM quick shifter, it's a different brand. It's from the UK, and it just makes use of the OEM plug. So I'm hoping it'll be no issues. I'll have a video installing it. But all the other quick shifters are all flash based, like flash tune based. And I didn't want to do that because I'm like, why do I want to ship my ECU out for a quick shifter when I could just buy a plug and play kit? And there's only like 2 that you can buy plug and play. Like, they're hard to find, and I assume it's because they come standard with quick shifters from factory now. And then they discontinued the part, so you can't even order the OEM quick shifter kit. It kind of sucks, but we'll see how the aftermarket companies do. I'm hoping it'll do well, because it just uses the plug. All it needs is a sensor. Now, if any of you guys have a sport touring bike that's not an FZ10, write in the comments what you got and tell me why you think that's the best sports touring bike. I get a lot of comments on this bike too. Sometimes I had one guy pull up next to me and goes, bro, you just shot a massive blue flame. Like, yeah, this bike just, it's loud, it's in your face, it wheelies like crazy, so it kind of wants to kill you, but not really, because it's not over the top. And it shoots flames like nobody's business. It's a great bike. It's really insane. It's raw is probably the best word for it, but it's got all these electronic nandies on it, like ABS, traction control, etc. that keeps it and makes it safe. Yamaha based, I didn't intend to be. I know people have their brand of preference, and I guess I just turned out to be a Yamaha person because I just so happened to start on an R3. I like the look of the R3 over the Ninjas, even though they look very similar. And then from there, I wanted an MT-07 because it just sounds so mean. And then from there, I was like, well, I'm already in the lineup. I have an FC-07. I want an MT-10. And, well, boof, here it is. One more thing I wanted to talk about, actually, that I just learned last week, is you can adjust settings on your dash on this bike. I forget how to do it. Something with holding a clock button. But you can adjust the screen brightness. You can adjust when the shift light comes on. You can adjust how the shift light comes on. So if you want a steady light or a flashing light or no light. And then you can adjust the brightness of that light. And you can adjust when it comes on. I think I might have said that already. You can adjust which RPM it comes on and which RPM it comes off. I didn't know this. I literally owned an MT-10, had it wrecked, bought this one, and went months without knowing you could do this. So I configured it. My shift light's a bit higher now than it was, because I'd be on the highway and my shift light was just on. And I think I set it to a flash now, which is cool. Didn't up the brightness of the dash because you don't need it to be full brightness. I don't see why not. And yeah, so that is a feature I didn't know either this bike has. How cool is that? Maybe every bike has that. This is news to me. Maybe my other bikes had that and I didn't know either. Like, I really did not know this. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I want to take this bike to the drag strip, like I said, and see if I can get 10s out of it. So be sure to subscribe to see that video in the future. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.